All in Texas was single-handedly one of the greatest wrestling pay-per-views I have ever seen in my life. It was a blast from start to finish. It was the longest pay-per-view in history, beating, I believe, WrestleMania 35 if I'm not mistaken. And it didn't feel like it at all, because it was banger after 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 banger. We'll talk about my review of All In Texas 2025, and I'll glance over the awful Saturday Night's Main Event counter-programming that WWE put on at about the same time as All In Texas, as well as run over Evolution and Great American Bash. All of that here on Screw the Script. It is, without question, no argument on the other side, in my opinion, that can be made in saying that WWE is a superior product when it comes to in-ring quality of matches and big shows. All In Texas took a fat shit on Saturday Night's Main Event. It was better than Great American Bash. The best thing that WWE had over the weekend was Evolution. And it's unfortunate because they had awful marketing for it, no build for it whatsoever. It somehow ended up being a good show on their end. But for their flagship shows of Raw and SmackDown to put on that abysmal performance that we saw from Saturday Night's Main Event, I mean, you can see it here before I get to my ratings. 3.5. That is awful. Horrendous. And then, the good side of it, you got All In Texas, highest rated on CageMatch.com from all 4 shows this past weekend. It holds a 9.09, I believe, or 9.10. I have it up there for you guys to look at. I think that's an understatement, personally. And we'll get into that next here on my review of All In Texas, and I'm bringing back my cans of whoop-ass review metric. We'll just talk about the key pointers in each match, so this video isn't like a solid 40-minute video. I'll try and get through this quickly, but that's not to deter how fucking great All In Texas was. You can't lie through your teeth even anymore. If you're going to attack AEW and say, oh, they're bad at telling stories, they don't have longevity in storylines, and this and that, it's fucking stupid to hear people do this shit at this point. They literally had a storyline within a fucking storyline happen in the main event with Swerve Strickland and Hangman Adam Page that has been going on for 2 years, on top of the storyline of Moxley and Hangman over the last couple of months. That is storytelling. That is depth of storytelling. You can't argue it anymore. They are kicking WWE's ass left and right on everything. Promos, storylines in 2025, and most importantly, their big shows. To start off, we had the World Trios Championship match. It was the match I least cared about, and it was still good. It was still better than everything that happened at Saturday Night's Main Event. Samoa Joe was great. Gabe Kidd was great. The right team won. They retained the titles, and it was foretelling later on what happened in the night. It was not a good night for the Death Riders. This match alone gets a solid 4 out of 6 cans of whoop-ass. It was a good match. Next, I believe, in the right order, we had the men's casino gauntlet match. It was a blast. It was fun from start to finish. You had returns in Rock Hard Juice Robinson. You had all these funny segments. You had Max Caster come out and glance down at his former partner. Storytelling. That's going to go somewhere, and you know it. You saw MJF, storytelling, with Mark Briscoe. Nice guy finished last as MJF won yet again. by taking advantage with his sleazy heel tactics, and it's beautiful. MJF wins the men's gauntlet match. This was a 5 out of 6 gauntlet match. 5 out of 6 cans of whoop ass. Tons of fun. Then I believe after this, if I'm not mistaken, was the Swerve Strickland match and the Young Bucks. This was a 6 out of 6 cans of whoop ass. And not the only one of the night. This is as perfect of as a non-title tag team match at a big show as you can get. You had the crowd go absolutely apeshit when Swerve and Will Ospreay beat the Young Bucks and stripped away their EVP titles. Tony Khan and AEW is doing everything in their damn power to right the wrongs of the previous 2 years with their debacles, their mistakes. He is human. AEW as a company is human. They make mistakes, just like WWE has countless times in the years that they've been around. And we'll get into that in a little bit about their shit-ass show that they had to counter this. Will Ospreay and Swerve Strickland pick up a great win after an amazing tag team match. This was actually the best tag team match of the night. It was better than the other title matches, in my opinion. It wasn't for actual titles, but the Young Bucks have lost their EVP titles. I'm curious where they're going to go. They'll probably take a little time off and bring back the old Young Bucks that we love. They'll bring back... I'm hoping that they bring back BTE, but that's just another story for another time. Next, I believe we had the TNT title match. The only small nitpick that I had of the night, and I can't really complain. My heart goes out to Adam Cole. I hope that he is okay, and it's not anything super serious. It looks like it's more concussion issues. Get better, Adam Cole. You are a great wrestler, despite what fans on the internet say about you. I hope and wish for the best for you. They had to call an audible as the show happened, basically, for this. It was still a great match. You saw Dustin Rhodes, of all people, come out on top. It was shocking. It was a great moment. It almost brought a tear to my eye because he fucking deserves it. And then some. The crowd loved it. The match itself was great. The only thing that I can knock it on was that it was a slight change of hand last second. But even then, this gets 5 out of 6 cans of whoop ass. It was another good match. The women's gauntlet match, I believe, was next, if I'm not mistaken. Also a banger. You saw so many good moments in this match. And you saw Athena win. Also unexpected. I picked Tekla. It could have been Megan Bayne. It could have been Chris Statlander. Very unpredictable, very fun match. Not quite as good as the men's, but I'm still going to give this a 4 out of 6 cans of whoop ass. Then we're on to what I would say is the best triple main event AEW's ever put out. And one of the best triple main events in pay-per-view history, period. Before that, we had the AEW World Tag Team Championship 3-way match. This was my least favorite match of the night, but even then, it was still great. It was still a solid match. You saw the Hurt Syndicate retain, which is what everybody kind of expected, but everybody shined in this. You had Jet Speed shine. Kevin Knight was fucking phenomenal. You saw the growth that Nick Wayne has had. Christian being back in the ring was great to see. And then, to make things even better, the match wasn't like perfect. It was fine. It was my least favorite match of the night, but it wasn't a bad match by any stretch. It just wasn't as fucking good as everything else. You saw Edge or Adam Copeland or Cope come back, and it looks like, oh hey, long-term storytelling again. We're going to see Edge and Christian one last time together. It's going to be a slow build as he came back, and instead of saying what he said to him months ago, he said, go find yourself, and then left. And it left Christian perplexed. God damn, this was absolute cinema. This whole night was perfect. It was like the perfect Martin Scorsese movie of professional wrestling. Perfect storytelling. Perfect ends to stories. Perfect matches. Title changes. It had everything you would want as a wrestling fan. And if you're going to hate on the show, you're just an AEW hater. There is no reason to hate on this show. Now let's get to that triple main event. Toni Storm and Mercedes Moné, I believe, was the first one. one of the best, if not the best, women's title match in AEW history, and arguably one of the best women's title matches in the last decade. It was a technical match, which I wasn't expecting. It had reversals, it had great spots, great near falls. Toni Storm picks up the win at the end. It was perfect. 6 out of 6 cans of whoop ass, as this was probably one of the best women's matches in AEW's history, so it's hard to not give it a 6 out of 6. Real quick, I was so shocked and still ramped up by Cope's return. I forgot to give it cans of whoop ass rating on the tag team match. I'm going to give that a 3 out of 6 cans of whoop ass. It was just an average tag match. The Adam Copeland moment was a perfect 6 out of 6 cans of whoop ass moment. It was beautiful. Then we had winner take all, Okada, Omega. It was shorter than I expected, but I understand after how long the main event was, it was still short and sweet. Amazing technical match. These two have the greatest ring synergy of the modern era. There is not a match that Okada and Omega could ever put on that is bad. It was really good. It showed the US fans and people who haven't really seen Okada matches go as hard as this, that he is that damn good, still at his age. And Omega, too, even though he is now in his 40s, is so good in the ring. I wanted Omega to win. I'm okay with Okada winning because he is also so damn good. This gets a 5 out of 6 cans of whoop ass for me. And then on to the main event, one of the most satisfying, complete, perfect main events in AEW history. Hangman Adam Page dethrones Jon Moxley after making him tap, poetically, by the way, by hanging him by a chain from over the top rope. Hangman hung him. That would be the headline of my newspaper if I had one. It was so good. It was gory. It was great for the sickos out there. Amazing near falls, amazing spots. You obviously saw the Death Riders get involved. Then you saw people help out Hangman. And it just kept getting better and better and better as the match went on. You saw Bryan Danielson come back. He fucking trolled the shit out of WWE. A couple days ago before this event, they wanted him to stop doing the yes chant. Fuck off. He can do the yes chant all he wants. It was hilarious. You know he did it because of them requesting him to not do it, which is such bullshit because it is his chant and his chant alone, not WWE's, not TKO's. To make it even better, Darby Allin returned. Long-term storytelling. He had the audacity to record a video on the top of Mount fucking Everest, saying that he was going to take everything from Moxley, and he did because he dropped the title. He comes back and jumps Moxley and his gang. And then, more long-term perfect storytelling. Swerve Strickland comes out, and you think he's going to go in and screw over Hangman like he did to him many months ago. No, they buried their beef. He threw in the chain for Hangman that he eventually used to hang Moxley and become AEW World Champion. This was a golden 6 out of 6 cans of whoop ass. This match was one of the most perfect main events of any pay-per-view I've seen in years. AEW All in Texas gets a rare from me. It wasn't perfect, but no pay-per-view can be absolutely perfect, but this was as perfect can get from AEW and their pay-per-views. This is going to get, I believe, my first ever 6 out of 6 cans of whoop ass for the entire show. For the main event, the entire show. It was so good. Saturday night's main event, I'm not even going to review it all. It was so bad. You had only 4 matches. Seth Rollins blows his knee. Randy Orton, Drew McIntyre was like a 6-minute match only. It was pathetic. You saw Jelly Roll get involved, and now we're going to see RK Roll. This is why I don't like TKO and WWE anymore. I've stopped reviewing Raw because I can't watch it anymore. I can't. It's all celebrity and endorsements. They diminished what it means to be a pro wrestler when you bring in a guy who is a country singer and a country singer first, probably has no actual authentic wrestling capabilities in his background, and now he's probably going to headline one of the main event matches at SummerSlam? Are you fucking kidding me? Rollins blowing his knee against LA Knight, and it quickly had to get rushed. Solo and Jimmy Uso was a slop fest of a match. Goldberg and Gunther was boring. Gunther had to carry him the entire match. Granted, it was probably the longest match Goldberg has had in some time. I'll give him that. But it was not enough to justify how bad the show was. It was packaged with ad breaks and all kinds of commercials. It was more of that than wrestling as per usual. I'm not going to give ratings for each match. I'm just going to say that the whole Saturday night's main event gets a 2 out of 6 cans of whoop ass. The only thing that's keeping it from being a 1 out of 6 is the fact that Gunther surprised me by being able to carry Goldberg in that match. I thought it was going to be spear, jackhammer, spear, and then over in 5 minutes. It was better than that, so I'm not going to give it a 1 out of 6, but it barely gets a 2 out of 6 cans of whoop ass. Then you had the Great American Bash. I'm going to give that a 4 out of 6 cans of whoop ass. It was okay. Ethan Page and Ricky Saints was my favorite match of that show, but that was about the highlight for me. And then Evolution, in my opinion, was the best thing that WWE put out over the weekend for counter programming, if you would. That will also get a 4 out of 6, but a higher 4 out of 6 cans of whoop ass than Great American Bash, because I can't give it a 5 and certainly not a 6, because you want to complain about storytelling and everything and build. There was literally nothing really for this. The marketing for it was atrocious. The show itself was good, but again, there was no substance to it really, and that's why I'm only going to give it a 4 out of 6 cans of whoop ass. That's all I had on this episode of Screw the Script, reviewing the shows. Obviously, I spent way more time on All in Texas because it, in my mind, was the absolute best show of the weekend. Not even close, without question. I quickly glanced over WWE shows because I did not watch them live. I didn't watch Saturday night's main event until Sunday morning. Then I watched Great American Bash right after that to rid the awful taste in my mouth after watching that shitty Saturday night's main event. And then I watched Evolution, and that was the best show. So I at least finished with the best for last for WWE. You let me know down below what you thought about all the shows. I'm just going to go out and say it. AEW is better than WWE in 2025. You let me know your thoughts on that claim down below. This has been Maverick with Screw the Script. Thanks for watching.